Hey YouTube, just wanted to do a video on my first planted tank. This is a 10-gallon planted tank. I just started this about a month ago. Actually, no, I take that back. I started about 2 months ago. It's been a very good tank this far. I wanted to share some of my successes and some of my failures, and give everyone out there who's looking to start a tank as well some advice on how to do it, what to do, what not to do. Can't obviously cover that all in this video, but try to give you a brief overview. First of all, lighting is very, very important. Not having too much, not having too little. On here, I'm having currently running 2 compact fluorescent bulbs that are just 13 watts, which is fantastic for a tank like this. I know watts per gallon doesn't mean anything, but this is 2.6 watts per gallon, so it's pretty intense lighting. So much so that if you do this sort of setup, you're gonna want to run CO2. I actually have 2 bottles back there. I don't know if you can see it. I have a little Mott's apple juice bottle back there too. I'm using my bubble counter, but yeah, it's 2.5 liters running into the tank here, which has actually been great for me. I've been running it for a month now. Most people say not to do that because your CO2 runs down and it just craps out on you, but I've been running the same bubbles per second up until probably actually about yesterday is when it started to go down a little bit, so I'll probably change it out tomorrow, assuming it's still a little bit lower. And swap out 1 bottle every 2 weeks, so I keep a stable amount of CO2, which is pretty important so you don't get things like BBA in your tank. You don't want BBA. It's a mess. So what species am I rocking in here? I have some hygrofolia. I can't talk. Hygrofolia right there. That's one larger plant. I got another smaller one over here. Just actually put those in this week. Also got some myrophilium there, right there in the center. Got a little bit of Nubius. Have some dwarf hairgrass, which is the only plant I haven't had any luck with. It's kind of mixed in with some Rika. Got this stuff because I thought I'd love it. I actually hate it. I know I'm supposed to attach it to a rock or something, but I've been floating it. Now I'm just trying to get out of the tank because it's a mess. Actually got some Melodia there. Got it from the guy who gave me Rika. Also accidentally gave me a piece of Melodia and a couple other plants. So I've been meaning to identify those, but haven't taken the time yet. Got some dwarf baby tears there as proof that this setup works. I've been running it in there since basically day one. Yes, I realize I have hair algae in there. I've been kind of leaving it. I took a good section of it out. That's one great thing about a small tank. When you get algae blooms, you can kind of mechanically manage it. Haven't really had any algae problems though. I'm hoping my shrimp will start eating that, but my red cherry shrimp are sort of particular for some odd reason. They don't want to eat it. They eat it back and then they stop eating it every so often, but that doesn't really matter. Have some water sprayed in there as well. Some Logidia and some Mexican oak. Mexican oak is a ridiculous plant. If you put it under high lighting, you will go crazy amounts of it. I probably had about 6 stalks in my tank. I have a 30-gallon I just set up here last week. I guess actually like Friday, so it's still kind of messy. But all that Mexican oak was in the tank, plus like double that. I actually cut it all back and put it in that tank. Took the pieces I wanted. Half this tank was freaking Mexican oak. This stuff grows crazy fast. Good looking plant. Looks pretty cruddy in the other tank right now because of the lighting, and also it just hasn't quite cleared up since I was messing with it yesterday, and it's a dirty tank. Setting up dirty tanks is just a mess, but part of the fun. I guess I also got some purple Kaboma back here. Great plant. Got that in the 30 as well. I guess it's actually 29, but whatever, doesn't really make a difference. Also got some Wentii. My Wentii is insane. I have, I think, 3 bunches of it in here right now. I have 4 in the 29, and I got 3 others, and my 5-gallon, I guess it is, or 2.5. I'd correct myself. And then there's like 4 other little baby Wentii that started up in the tank here this week. It's just growing like nuts. I got some Java Fern too. That's really about it. So I've really been able to grow just about anything I want in here, and it's all been successful. And I think really the source of my success is 3 different things, 3 most important things. Your substrate, my lighting, and my CO2. The CO2 has been stable. I have a bubble checker, or bubble counter in the back, and I have a drop checker right up here in the front. You want to get a drop checker, especially if you're new to CO2. It gives you something to have reference off of for when you have CO2 running too fast or when it's just not even working. Right now, it's starting to run a little low, as I said. It's starting to hint towards the bluer end of the scale, which means it's not quite right. I don't know how it appears in the video here, but on the substrate, I did play sand and fluorite. Fluorite's a great substrate. It's really high in iron. It makes your LaGuardia look like that. It's bright, beautiful red. That's the only one that's quite shown that yet. As they get closer to the light, they get brighter and brighter. Also, my Mexican oak has a bit of a yellow tint to it, which only really good substrates will give it a yellowish tint. So I'm absolutely in love with that. But the play sand, don't do play sand in a planted tank. It's a mess. I mean, it looks good, and I like it now that it's finally settled. It takes forever to settle. You have to really make sure you clean it well, and even then, it's still going to be dirty for a few days just because of how messy play sand is. And the one thing I really don't like about it is it doesn't really allow a lot of root growth. The plants have to try real hard to get good root growth, which is part of the reason my Anubias is just pushing itself out of the ground here, because it has to try so hard to push through. So if you do sand, do something like pool sand. Pool sand is great. Pool filter sand, it's nice in large granules. I mean, the roots can push through them real easy. It moves around really easy. It moves around just about as easy as pool sand, but the real difference is that, you know, the granules are up to about 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters in size, so it's basically like small gravel. But still looks really nice. What else? I guess I'm stocking two different types of animals in here right now. I have some rainbow fish here. I have dwarf neon rainbow fish. I have 3 males. The one guy seems swimming around there. He's the boss of the tank. There's 2 other females in there. I know it's not a perfect ratio for those of you who have rainbow fish, but it's a small tank, and I got them from a guy in Florida. I'm here in Ohio, so you know, you get what you get. I got them at an auction. I love them. I also have, where in the world are they? I have red cherry shrimp in here as well. I have 4 of them. I used to have 5, and I had 2 Amanos in here too, and one of them decided he's going to make a lunch out of my one female who's just about ready to get pregnant. This one now is pregnant. Probably can't see it from the way I have the camera angled, but she's got some eggs underneath there, and she's fanning them. They're great shrimp. They will mate a ton on their own. You don't have to do hardly anything to take care of them. I mean, they're fantastic shrimp. I love them. I wish they would eat more, but that will be, you know, fixed once I get 30 extra shrimp in there from that one pregnancy there. Cross my fingers. That's really about it. I run a hang on the back filter. I can't think of anything else. Make sure you run a heater in your tank if you really want good plant growth. I know a lot of people aren't stringent on that, but if you think about it, plants metabolize a lot like you know, fish really do. And to allow them to have extra growth and allow them to use up the nutrients more efficiently and grow more, you need to have a stable temperature that they like. I also have an aerator there. I only run it at night. I don't really need to because my CO2 is not that insane, but you know, I had an aerator laying around. It doesn't hardly cost anything, so why not run it just for peace of mind? It also helps to reset the CO2 cycle each night. It helps to flush it all out. You don't have to do that, but if you aren't doing that, make sure you are very careful of how you run your CO2. You know, check the pH like every 4 hours, what I've heard. I think that's a great idea. Make sure you're running it within the right area. If you have too much CO2 in your tank, you'll gas out your fish and they'll die. I nearly made that mistake. I didn't run my filter one day. Didn't think about it. I had my CO2 running. It's a long story why I didn't run the filter. Came home and all my shrimp were going absolutely ballistic. And I looked at my drop checker, and it was just a bright yellow. My CO2 was, I think it was like 60 parts per million or something. I'm amazed I didn't lose anything, but it was a scary day. So don't do that. Be very careful with CO2. There are dangers to it. But I think the benefits outweigh the risks if you're careful and learn how to do it right. So that, my friends, is my first planted tank. If you have any questions, want any sort of advice, not saying I'm an expert by any means, but I'd love to help. So I hope you enjoyed. I think I'm probably about 10 people see this, but here's my tank for you.